name is Manavi. I'm a first-year economics student at LSE. Economics is something I've always been very passionate about, so this is like dinner time conversation at our family. I was originally born in India, then we moved to Hungary, then I lived for a bit in Hong Kong, so in a sense, like I've lived in a first, second and third world country. You sort of see when you move from country to country, the impacts of economics on people's everyday lives. It becomes even more apparent when you see sort of drastic disparities in terms of standards of living, and I think perhaps that did have an influence in shaping my passion for economics. And I think that sort of drastic disparity was what motivated me or encouraged me to join a society like this, which would sort of promote a more pluralistic approach to studying economics. And
So what made me get involved with Post-Crash Economics? The whole thing kind of started during a staff strike when they had a teach out tent, right here actually. Frank, who is another person who's really interested and involved with the Post-Crash Economics Society, spoke about the times when he used to be an undergraduate here in LSE and how it used to be a school which kind of fought for, social justice, it fought for, disempowered people, it tried to shine, the light of reason on basically the social problems of the day.
Teach out is what happens during a strike. It's whenever the university staff are on strike and they're trying to encourage students not to cross picket lines. And so what they did is they set up a tent just down there, and they had a bunch of high-profile academics giving really cool speeches about, various aspects of their work and trying to tie it to the pay dispute and the strike that was ongoing. So I showed up to the tent, and not wanting to cross the picket lines, I obviously sat there and sort of started listening to these speeches that were going on, and then they opened it up to participation from the audience, and I started to air some of my concerns and my grievances with the way that this institution has been changing. I kind of passed around a piece of paper and said, if people are interested in founding a society where we can talk about this kind of stuff, then put your email address on the paper and we'll meet up. So the Post-Crash Economics Society came out of the teach out. It came out of me passing around that sheet of paper, and it came out of the emergence of a few people who were prepared to put in time and effort to try and make this thing happen.
The first thing to do, we thought, was just to get everyone together who shared similar interests or shared the similar kind of sentiments. We started off by trying to promote some events. So we showed Inside Job last week and had a discussion which was really great. It went on for about 3.5 hours about the kind of causes of the crash and economic issues surrounding the crash, especially looking at how academic economics supported and its failure to kind of account for and deal with what happened in 2008.
one of the sort of more general ideas that the society has is to sort of have more critical engagement with the subject. I recently wrote an article in The Beaver in which I was essentially trying to highlight why I think the existence of the society is very important, because what the society is advocating is a sort of approaching economics from a more pluralistic dimension. While we're not attacking the current dominant sort of paradigm in economics, which would be neoclassical essentially, what we are advocating is being more aware of sort of limitations and flaws that that model has, and alternatively, so being more open to different schools of thought. And
the idea generally was to follow on from some of the stuff which other university groups have been doing in Manchester and UCL, which is to try and promote economic pluralism in the economics syllabus, and to try and make the economics syllabus and economics teaching at LSE more critical of the methodologies and the information that you're given as a student, and to basically just bring economics back into real-world context and real-world facts, because it seems kind of too detached and divorced by that at the moment. LSE at the moment, we have to take Econ B, which is the introductory module, and you have to take maths and statistics modules. Our aims might actually translate into the syllabus is for that module to actually start to engage students more critically, so they can think about the underlying philosophical and political and methodological assumptions that are just not really discussed or made explicit in that module. Because at the moment it's just quite homogenous. You learn one particular brand of economics in macro and micro over the whole year, and is very mathematical and is very divorced from real world issues that are happening at the moment and any form of like historical or political narrative.
I think I just generally encourage students to sort of look into the society, not just economics students. One of the more wider goals of the society, which would be to encourage critical engagement with your subject, something that at LSE you have great opportunities to do that and sort of take full advantage of that. Look into the society, definitely, if the subject matter interests you, come along to talks and debates and